today we begin with why Baker Mayfield is 100% correct to be absolutely furious at the Bucs contract offer. I guess the real question is, should he have actually done this publicly the way he actually did? We're going to dive into that. But first, I do have a couple clips from, as I like to call him, Mount St. Baker, as he totally erupted yesterday.
To feel disrespected a little bit. And that's really the disappointing part, to feel undervalued after, thinking you've earned it. This is not a poor me thing. There's a lot of other people that have it way worse off, but I can sit here and look at other quarterbacks and peers and evaluate myself based on that and put myself in certain categories that I deserve to be compensated for that.
Okay. I want to know what your thoughts are, North America. Do you believe Baker ripping on the Bucs publicly was actually a good or bad idea? Go ahead and drop your comments in. I've got a couple more of Mount St. Baker eruptions, which I'll play for you in just a second. But welcome to Last Night Today. As always, North America, I'm Dave Dabbah, and I bring you the latest NFL news, trade reports, trade rumors, and, of course, a lot of commentary. New to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And I always say, if you like the video, well then, go ahead and like the video. Drop your comments in. I want to know what your thoughts are. Good idea or bad idea? Here's another clip for you all from Mount St. Baker's eruption.
I'm a franchise quarterback. I've been told I'm a franchise quarterback. It's been said publicly from ownership down here. And so to not have a deal done is very disappointing. But I said the deadline was a deadline. And I addressed the team to let them know I meant that.
Okay. So a deadline's a deadline. That's always why it's called a deadline, Baker. I'm just saying. All right. So here's where the rub is. Baker basically wants a 3-year deal worth $50 million plus per year. Now, reports are that the Tampa Bay Bucs went to 2 years at $50 million. And of course, we don't know a lot about the guaranteed money or the specifics of that particular offer. Look, Baker has earned the right, as far as I'm concerned, to be upset about the offer that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ultimately gave him. I guess the real question is whether or not Baker should have erupted publicly, because that's exactly what Baker did. Not only did he hold that press conference, he also had a bunch of interviews with 5 other outlets where he basically said the same thing. And his talking points across all of those interviews. Here's yet another soundbite for you all.
I told you guys, it's all ball, and I don't want to talk about it. And if you've waited this long to take care of your franchise quarterback, that's too bad, because it's only going to get worse from here. Yeah, I'm going to have a really good year. It's all ball from here. After today, I'll answer a few more questions about the contract, but after today, I'm not answering anymore, because I'm not negotiating anymore.
Okay. So there's Baker slamming the Bucs, also talking about how he's not going to negotiate anymore. I want to know what your thoughts, your opinions are. Was this a good idea or a bad idea? Now, basically, in my opinion, I think Baker came into practice. He knew post-practice that he was going to go on his media tour, basically ripping the Bucs organization. He had his talking points down so well that I thought for sure the night before he had some media training done on what his talking points should ultimately be. Now, Baker, throughout his career, well, he's had it what can best be described as a rocky road, as you all know. He had one great season in Cleveland. He had another season which he played hurt, probably shouldn't have played as much as he actually did. He ended up where all quarterbacks in the National Football League end up going to die. And that, of course, is the Carolina Panthers. And we've seen what 2 of those quarterbacks have done since they've escaped Carolina. One of them actually just won the Super Bowl for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just saying. Look, Baker has done, quite frankly, a great job taking over for Tom Brady in Tampa. And I think what he's actually asking for at this point, 3 years, $50 million, if that's actually what he's asking for, maybe a little bit more. I don't think there's anything wrong with that when we do the quarterback comparables in the National Football League at this point. So I don't understand exactly why the Tampa Bay Bucs would actually act in the way they're actually acting. But this is the National Football League, and these organizations operate in a different way than normal businesses ultimately do. One of the reasons for that is the fact that Baker Mayfield could be franchise tagged next season. And the franchise tag price for a quarterback next season is projected to be at around $50 million anyways. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could franchise tag Baker again the year after that for probably something between $56 and $58 million. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least from a financial perspective, have very little reason to do anything, quite frankly. But then there is the doing the right thing. And as far as I'm concerned, the message that you're sending to Baker and the message that Baker put out publicly, which is something you never want to have happen. These organizations, as you all know, would prefer this stuff stay in-house. But the fact that Baker did not feel that way, decided to hold, if you will, his own version of a Progressive insurance commercial, but for his disdain for how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have handled the negotiations with Baker for a new deal. And he went on his little media tour after the press interview that you've all seen clips from at this point. All of that is egg on the face for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization, which, by the way, is negotiating with other players right now as we speak. And if you believe that Mount St. Baker is not actually going to erupt again at some point between now and the end of the season, and how that eruption is ultimately going to be about the contract negotiations that stalled with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Look, I'm telling you right now, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are serious about saving their season, despite what Baker said about not being willing to negotiate anymore, at some point before the end of training camp, I would get that new 3-year deal that Baker ultimately wants, and I would put it in front of him. Then it's up to him whether or not he opens up the PDF to actually look at the contract. All right, love to get your thoughts, your opinions, North America. Please go ahead and drop them in. As always, for Last Night Today, I'm Dave Dabbah, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.